Well, my friends, I figured I'd get back on here, man. That last video, it went way long. Jesus, man. Like almost an hour. Wow. About a much to do about nothing. I mean, I say that, but it's the most important thing you can do. But this isn't about that. This is about, the United States, us, country. And it was us, I mean, other countries had it too, people that were innovators. And other countries, they were communist or dictatorships, whatever you want to call it. And of course, the innovation, yeah, they had it, just not like what we have, because we were a little bit more quote free. The problem being is over the years and decades, it's gotten worse because you have these agencies that come out, and these aren't elected officials or nothing. These are just people, in some agency that shouldn't have the power they have, and they need to be reined in like a ton. But there's people out there. If you watch some of these truck shows or car shows and stuff, there's people out there that will do away with like the emissions on a diesel pickup truck or something, and by doing away with the emissions and they tweak things, tune things, all of a sudden the truck's getting better mileage, less emissions, and it's like, man, well, what's wrong with that? Well, you deleted this the regeneration system or the cat or whatever, and oh, you're in trouble now because of course they videotape what they're doing, and then these people watch it and then they go after them. It's like you just hung yourself because they have all these rules and regulations against what you're quote doing. But the fact of it is you're doing it and you're experimenting with things. Because every time you do that, it's experimental. You're pulling this off, doing this, doing that, and you're trying to innovate. And they stifle your innovation because they find you. Then they want to throw you in jail and a whole bunch of other stuff when they should just leave your ass alone. So actually come out with something better. Same thing with tractors and all that stuff too. People are innovating. They do things to them and get more power out of them, less emissions. The whole 9 yards. And then people are like, "Oh, you can't do that." They just need to back off. They went after a. I probably brought this up before, but they went after a large parts supplier because they sold a piece that could delete a catalytic converter. Well, they're not installing them. They're selling it, but they're not installing it. So I don't know why they're going after them. If a guy cuts the cat off, puts that on, and installs it, well, that's on the guy. If he buys the part and it's still sitting on a shelf and he hasn't installed, he hasn't done nothing wrong. He owns the part, but it's like, so. I mean, I myself personally, I always put, if I ever do anything, like if I had a cat that goes bad, falls apart inside or whatever, I cut the damn thing off and I buy a new one, and I install it, so the car will run, and plus, it's back to the way it was from the factory. I mean, if I was building a race car, yeah, it wouldn't have catalytic converters and all that stuff on it, but it would be a race car. It'd be different. I mean, you would be driving it on the street and all that kind of stuff. And I don't experiment with things, trying to make things better or this or that. So I mean, I just put whatever was on back on. Plus the car's quieter with it, and a bunch of other stuff. But it's that way with a lot of different things. There's a lot of people out there that do certain things, and then the EPA comes after them, or somebody comes after them because you can't do that. So we're going to stifle innovation in our country when that's what built our country was innovation. I mean, they sit back and what GM and Ford and all these car companies and John Deere and Case and all these, they want these guys to, do their thing. Well, that's fine, but if somebody can get in there and tweak things and make a better product, well, why not? A lot of smart people out there, So, and the thing of it is too is like a lot of these people build these barnuminiums. It's a house inside of like a building, and they come in and they go, oh, well, we're gonna have to tax the dog shit out of you on this. And it's like, why? It's basically a building with an office, but it's got living quarters in it. It's like, okay. I mean, what happened if you had an office and a pull-out couch? Is that a living space? So I remember a friend of mine years ago. He had a business, and he was going to put above, because he had the room to do it, above it, living space. So he could live there. I mean, it was the business, and then they could, live upstairs. Of course, the city comes in and says, oh, you can't do that. It's like, why not? I mean, years ago they did that. I mean, you drive through a lot of these old towns, and these old brick buildings, they had a storefront on the bottom, whatever it was, bakery, meat shop, it doesn't matter. And then above they had living quarters. And maybe above that even another living quarter. I mean, maybe they rented that one out to somebody. But the fact of it is, they did it years ago, but it's not good enough today. And that's just a small example. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of examples out there. But they just need to back off and leave people alone. Oh, a guy deletes a truck and is experimenting with it to try to get better mileage out of it, better emissions, the whole 9 yards. And, we're going to find that guy. Well, he's one guy in millions that have a truck. I mean, he's not harming anything. And if things got better, well, you'd think GM, Ford, whoever would come to him and say, hey, what are you doing here? I mean, how are you getting more power out of this and less emissions? And they talk to him and stuff, and then GM goes back to their engineers and go, hell, let's work on this. And then they come out with something similar or comparable, or maybe even better. I don't know. But, yeah, they just want to control your life. And that's not government's purpose. Government is not in the morale business either. That's you. That's up to you. It's between you and God. So that's really all I got on here to say. See, I kept this one down short, I hope. So, anyways, y'all got what I'm saying. Have a good one.